Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up and install Almanack. Almanack lets you aggregate iCal, Google Calendar, and Meetup.com events into one place, and you can host that for free on Heroku if you have a Heroku account. So in this video I'll show you how to install Almanack, how to set it up and add an iCal source and a Meetup.com group, and then publish it out to the real world. And then if you're interested, you can hang around after that and I'll show you how to set up your own custom themes for it. Okay, so Almanack is written in Ruby. You do not need to know Ruby. This is really aimed at anyone with some basic web development experience. However, you will need Ruby installed. Almanack should work on any version of Ruby 2 or greater. So just make sure that you have that installed in your system. There's plenty of sites like the Ruby Lang website, which will teach you how to install it and set it up on your system. If you're on OS X Mavericks, it should come by default out of the box and you shouldn't need to do anything. So just to check that you've got the right version of Ruby running, open a command prompt, type ruby -- version, and it should give you something greater than 2. Okay, so once you have Ruby installed, to install Almanack, you just type gem install Almanack. I'm not going to run this here because I've already installed it and it'll just take too long to do. So let's just move on. Once you've installed Almanack, you get a command line tool called Almanack. And it comes with a bunch of commands out of the box. The one we're going to focus on for the starting point is just creating a new calendar. So to start a new calendar, you just type Almanack, new, and then the name of your calendar. So I'm just going to call this one my calendar. Okay, what this does is this creates a scaffold of all the files that you need to get up and running. It also creates an empty Git repository, which is quite handy for deploying, which I'll show later. So once you're set up, you can follow these instructions. So we can go cd my calendar, and then Almanack start. And what this is going to do is this is going to start a local server on your system, and in this case it's going to run it on port 9292. So the way that we go and view this is in the browser, localhost / 9292, and you can see here is our new calendar. It's called My Calendar, and it's telling us here, oh, we should probably edit this calendar settings, and here's the file that we need to change. Let's go have a look at that file. So before I do anything else, because I'm changing the configuration, you'll have to stop the server to make those changes just for the configuration. So to shut down the server, you press Control-C. And let's have a look inside this directory that Almanack has created for us called My Calendar. So inside this file, you have all the settings for your calendar. You have the name, which right now we're calling My Calendar. You have a theme. Right now, Almanack comes with one theme, which is called Legacy, and you can also create your own themes, which I'll show later if you're interested in that. Also inside this file, you have some dummy configuration commented out to show you how to use it. And right now we have one event in here, which is just hard-coded in. So it's not really interesting. Let's go and put something in from the real world. So I'm just going to delete this. And let's start by adding an iCal feed. So I'm going to uncomment this line. Now, if you're looking for a Google Calendar, Google Calendars do publish iCal feeds, so you can find that by going to Google Calendar, find the calendar that you want. So here I'm going to use the New Zealand Ruby calendar. Just click the disclosure arrow, calendar settings, iCal, find that badge, and right-click on it, copy the link, and then you can just paste that in. Okay. So that's as easy as it is to add iCal feeds. Pretty much any sort of web application that has some sort of events or calendar will publish some sort of iCal feed. So have a look. You'd be surprised at what you can get in an iCal feed. And if you want to add multiple iCal feeds or meetup groups, just copy and paste these lines. You can add as many as you like into one Almanack configuration. So the next step, we're going to add a Meetup.com group. You can see there's a couple of parameters here. So we've got the group's URL name and the key. You can find the key by going to this link, which is in the comments there. So let's go and have a look at that. And I'm just going to take a key from Meetup, copy that, paste that in. And the group I'm going to use, let's find something that's got some events coming up. So I'm going to take the foundation, which is a local hackerspace. And what you want to look for is in the meetup.com URL, you've got meetup.com/ and then some word, right? So you want to borrow that string and you want to paste that in. So there's your group URL name. And that's it. So if you hit save, go back to your command line, type Almanack start, and hopefully now we should have something which, if I reload, is going to pull the events from online. Great, and it does. So you can see we've got the Ruby events coming in here, and we've got the hacker space events coming in here, and it's all aggregated in one feed. And not only that, but we have an iCal feed that you can then subscribe to. So no longer do you have to subscribe to a bunch of different calendars. You can just aggregate them all into one place and just subscribe to that aggregated calendar in your desktop calendar app or in your smartphone calendar app. Okay, so now we've got our calendar. Let's say that we want to put this live. So Almanack actually comes with a way to do that out of the box. And before I go any further, I'm just going to shut down the server. Okay. So I mentioned before that Almanack creates an empty Git repository when you run Almanack new, and that is because if you have the Heroku tool belt installed, which you can get from heroku.com for free, you can use your Git repository to push to Heroku. Heroku will deploy and run your app, and it should just work. So what we need to do is we need to add our files to Git. You can see they're now added. I'm going to commit them. Basic calendar. And that's it. So now that we've got something committed, we can push that Git repository up to Heroku. And Almanack actually does all this for you, so you can just type Almanack deploy, and this will set up and create an application. Picks a name at random. So you can see here we've got one called Protected Ridge 4390. That's the URL that it's going to end up deploying to .heroku.com. So if we give that a minute to go ahead and install the dependencies that we need to run the server. Okay, and that's it. It's live. So if we take this URL, it's now live. You can subscribe to it. You can share it with your friends, whatever you like. Okay, so that's a basic introduction on how to get up and running with Almanack. If you want to learn how to add your own custom themes, I'll show you how to do that now. So if you want to create your own custom theme, just like before, we're going to use the Almanack command, and we're going to type Almanack theme, and then you need a name for your theme. So I'm just going to do something, let's call it red. So we're going to make a red theme. And just like before, this creates a bunch of files that will give you a starting point. So it'll give you a few templates for you to edit, and some JavaScript and some CSS. Some of you will be happy to learn that Almanack supports Sass and CoffeeScript. So if those are the things that you like to use, you can use those, but they're entirely optional. So let's go back to our project. And you can see here that it's created this themes directory. We've got another directory in there called red, and then a few various files that we can get started with. When you run that Almanack theme command, it will also update your configuration to pick up your new theme. So let's just start the server. And reload. And you can see there, that's just given us a very bare theme, which is the result of 20-some lines of CSS that you can kind of you're expected to take and change. So let's just go and make a really minor change in here. Let's make the background some sort of red color. So, alright, and then let's set the font, the color to be white. So let's just reload that. Okay, so that's pretty ugly, but let's just say that this is what we want it to look like. So coming back to the command line, what I'm going to do is, we can see we have a bunch of changes that we need to commit. So let's go and commit those. Again, git add. You can see that they're now added to git commit, add red theme. And all we need to do now is type once again Almanack deploy. And our beautiful new theme should now be out in the wild. So let's go and have a look at that URL again. Perfect. Alright, that's it. That's Almanack. So please let me know if you have any issues by opening an issue on GitHub. Any features that you'd like to add, any sources of events you'd like to add. Let me know, give me feedback. This is still in its early days, but I think it's already usable and should help you with your calendar events. Okay, thanks for watching.